Mel Antonen walked down the hall, and he joins us here on O's Extra, national baseball writer and contributor to the Mid-Atlantic Sports Report. And there's a lot of talk going on because the basic agreement is being negotiated that will replace the current agreement, that there is major realignment in the offing for Major League Baseball. Now, right now, you have the 16 teams in the National League, 4 teams in the American League. What kind of alignment and what kind of shuffling are we talking about?
We don't know what kind of shuffling, but there's a lot of issues, and a lot of players are talking about it, and a lot of owners are talking about it. What the players are upset about is they don't like the 6-team division in the National League Central and a 4-team division out west. So they want even divisions. There are some owners within baseball who want just 2 15-team leagues, period, Jim, with no divisions. So those are the 2 ideas right now. And because the basic agreement is going so well, they have time to talk about this. And it might take a while, but I believe that realignment is coming. It's just a matter of how. Do they blow it all up big time, or do they just tweak?
Well, there's 2 ways to look at this, because if it's 2 15-team leagues, somebody now has to go back from the National League to the American League, because if you think back, when they went to the schedule that they have now and the leagues that they have now with the 3 divisions, the Brewers, an American League team, they went to the National League, so it would be 2 even leagues. But 15 teams in each league, you're talking about, is it going to be 6 divisions to make up the 5 times 5, or is it going to be, is everybody going to play everybody all year long?
Well, that's a question on that. Who's going to switch leagues if they go to what the players want? One National League team is going to have to move to the American League team. It could be that the Milwaukee Brewers move to the American League Central and the Kansas City Royals move to the West. It could be that the Houston Astros, with the new ownership, have to move to the American League. It could be, and probably the most logical solution, Jim, is that the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are in that in-between time zone, that mountain time zone between West and Central, they could move to the American League West, and then you'd have your 2 15-team leagues.
You know, and the other part of this, too, and I'm sure Oriole fans are curious, if they do the major realignment and alter or tinker with the divisions, does that mean that the Orioles are moved out of what is now the AL East and maybe into a different division, so they're not going head-to-head with the Yankees and the Red Sox?
Oh, there's a million ideas out there on how to realign. Reporters, analysts, everybody has ideas for realigning things. You know, it's fun to think about, but if you went really major, the Orioles could end up in a division with the Braves, the Nationals, and the 2 Florida teams. But again, those are only ideas. There's a lot of ideas on the table. The players brought this up. Because the basic agreement is going so well, they actually have time to talk about this. This might be something that happens 2 or 3 years down the road, not in 2012, obviously.
Well, and the other major point of this, too, is how do you then come up with the 162-game schedule? Because right now, with the unbalanced schedule, you're playing the other teams in your division 18 times, so you're not playing as many games out of the division in particular, because right now you have the 18 interleague games. I mean, this is also going to have to be tweaked. And to me, what seems fair is everybody plays everybody that you're going to play the same amount of times. That way you don't have any disparity or discrepancies in the schedule.
Right on, Jim. But how do you do that? If you have 2 15-team leagues, how do you handle the scheduling? You know, do you break them up into divisions? What happens if they're just one league? Then how do you do it? I mean, do the Yankees play Oakland just once? Does San Francisco come to Washington just once? I mean, there's a lot of issues with that scheduling, a lot of math, a big Rubik's Cube. Jim, we could go on and on for that all night. I don't know how they handle the schedule. The DH thing could be interesting because who wants... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that is a big topic because the Orioles are about to see it coming in on this road trip. When they go to Washington on Friday night, they lose their DH for 6 straight games, which means either Buck Showalter has to put Vladimir Guerrero in the outfield, and Nick Markakis happens to play the outfield spot that Guerrero plays. But to me, it would seem if they're going to do this, they either have to get rid of the DH or add the DH for all the teams.
Yeah, that's exactly. And you can tell that this is going to be a debate that's going to go on for a while. If you're a National League team, you don't necessarily want to move to the American League because then all of a sudden you have to add a $10 to $15 million salary for DH. That's a lot of money. So switching leagues isn't as easy as it was last time when the Brewers went from the American League to the National League. There's a lot of issues involved, and a lot of people are saying because Houston has a new owner, baseball could actually put the hammer down on the new owners in the Astros and say, if you want to be in this league, you have to move to the American League. Some people are saying it would be just easy to move the Diamondbacks to the American League West. But, man, there's a million scenarios. Maybe the Padres move to the American League West. Maybe the Marlins move. Who knows? I mean, Jim, there's a lot to discuss.
And one thing they could do with the DH, if the union agrees to give it up, and believe me, they're going to go kicking and screaming because, as you say, this is a top salary player. What they could do is say, well, we'll have a 26-man roster. We'll give you an extra player, and that's an extra major league player earning service time. Now, the other aspect of this is the number of playoff teams. All right, so right now you have your 4 in each league, and then eventually you have a World Series. You're talking about adding just 1 in each league, or however it works out, so it's a total of 10?
Well, the commissioner wants to, right now there's 8, and the commissioner, Bud Selig, wants to make it 10. Okay, that's nice, but this is an outdoor game. How do you shorten the postseason? I mean, when the postseason runs into November and you're playing baseball games with the threat of snow, that's not baseball. So my question is, if you move it from 8 teams to 10 teams in the postseason, Jim, and you play into November, does that eventually lead to a neutral site World Series? Could you imagine if the Orioles made the World Series and all of a sudden all the fans had to pack up and go to play in Texas? I mean, it'd be ridiculous, but I think it's a legitimate question. If you go to 10 teams, you either have to shorten the season, you have to shorten or compact the playoff season in October, but you can't be playing Game 7 of the World Series on November 10th. You just can't do it.
Well, I have a simple solution. Get rid of all those extra days off for national television, and you won't have to worry about it. Yeah. Play as you do during the season.
Yes, and maybe play a couple of doubleheaders throughout the season. You know, if you're making big-time money in a business, if you and I are running a hardware store and we're doing well, certainly we'd have sales on hammers once in a while, 2 for 1. That's what baseball should do. They're making a lot of money. Play some more doubleheaders. Shorten the season, let it end on September 26th, and then start the playoffs. They could do that, of course. They don't want to give up the extra gate. It's all about the money. They want 162 gates instead of 154. But really, if you could play more doubleheaders and give fans 2 for 1 once in a while, what would be wrong with that?